Welcome back to the show, everybody, where we talk about all things sales and fitness and life. Today, I'm going to start with a story and I'm going to get right into it. It's a solo podcast today. And here's where it started. Let's see, it was 2 weeks ago, I want to say. I'm sitting on the other side of a sales call, meaning I'm being sold to for a service that I needed help with, something that I was struggling with, and I needed help and I needed guidance on it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to book a sales call. I'm going to get on here. I'm going to see what they got. And at the very end, it's interesting how I'm sitting there, I'm usually the guy on the sales calls, and it's interesting to feel the experience on the other side as a potential client, right? It gave me a different perspective, but at the end of the day, there was a moment where I started to hesitate. Maybe this isn't the right time to do this. Maybe, I shouldn't actually invest in this thing right now. Maybe I'll wait until the time is better. And there was that split second of hesitation. And I caught myself. And I remember I'm like, no, that's not true. That's not the truth. The truth is that there's never a good time. I'm on a call because I need help. I need to make a change. And if I want the future to be different, I have to change right now. And in that instant, I gave him my credit card. We swiped it and boom, we were on to the next thing. But there was that hesitation, that moment. And I reminded myself, I think that moment reminded me that we're always deciding who we want to be. We're always deciding what type of version of ourselves we're going to show up as. And if I expect people to come on my calls and make quick decisions and not delay and rock and roll and, understand that if they don't change now, they never will, then how can I hold people to that standard? And so it was a really cool moment. I loved it because it tested me, right? In life, you get tested. If you're going to hold people to a standard, you're going to get tested the same way. And I think that's a powerful thing to remember. But it was something that had me thinking. So I wrote down some notes here. I'm checking out my phone, but it's so interesting because most of us know where we want to be, but few of us actually act like it. What do I mean by that? If we want to be the successful version of ourselves, if we want to be the guy that's decisive, makes decisions quick, makes money, all the things, right? Is in shape, is fit, then you got to start acting like it before you're actually there. The version of you holding you back isn't circumstances. It's the old identity that you keep defaulting to. In that moment, I could have defaulted to the old version of myself, which I would not resonate with at all, which is somebody who overanalyzes, thinks way too long and never actually takes action, right? And one of the things that I want to talk about on this podcast is the frame that I believe it was James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits. Every decision is a vote for the version that you're going to become, of who you're going to become. So that means whatever decision you make either is a vote against the better version of yourself or for, right? And we have these split decisions to make these adjustments. And if our identity is stuck in the past, we will make the same mistake over and over again. But if our identity is in that new version of ourselves, you actually have to make that decision before you are that person. And it's the hardest thing to do. It's not easy. That is where faith comes in. That is where my belief in faith and God and all these different things come from, because I know that everything does come from faith. Everything in our life comes from that. So the question that I really ask myself is, what do I want? And who am I being right now to get that version of myself that I want, right? You can't change what you can't see. The moment you catch that pattern, you take back your power, right? And I think a lot of us are on autopilot with our decisions and with the way that we do things and the way that we think and the way we've been taught in the past or from our family or whatever the case may be. It's more of understanding, who do you want to cast a vote for? This 2.0 version of yourself, or do you want to stay stuck and keep casting this version of yourself that's the same version, right? And I think about that a lot. with decisions now because I'm like, man, am I casting the vote for being the same version? And that's why I keep getting the same results I've been getting. And it's an eye opener. It hits you hard because you're like, dang. And so that story, if we go back to the story of me on that sales call, I had that split decision moment where I could decide to step into this new version of myself, the guy that I want to be, the identity of someone who's decisive, who invests in themselves, who goes and learns from other people and takes action quickly, or I could cast a vote for this version who hesitates, who says he'll get back to you. Hey, I'll get back to you. I got to think about it. Absolutely not. I did not want to cast a vote for that version of myself. I wanted to be this 2.0 version. And I think we all have those decisions daily. You know, I think the people that, I don't know, the people that hedge and play it safe and, don't actually go after that new version of themselves, I think it's a trained thing. I think you got to train yourself out of it. You got to snap yourself out of it. And as you get better at it, you get more confident because you start to see the result from it. You're like, wow, if I take that result and that new identity in myself, these are the results that are going to come from it. Wow, I'm super ready and willing to do it now. And that's where that faith muscle comes from. You have faith in God. You have faith that he's going to take care of you if you become that version of yourself that you want to become, a better version in every area of your life, right? Fitness, sales, obviously this is what we talk about on this episode, on this show, but it could be spiritual, it could be family, it could be relationships, it could be anything. You have to decide that you're going to cast a vote for this new, better version of yourself instead of casting a vote for your old identity over and over and over again. And the only person that can decide to change is you, which, again, that responsibility is on ourselves. Now, the last thing I wanted to leave with is small decisions compound. It's the standard you hold for yourself. It's not always about money, it's about decisions. Every choice is either building the person you want to become or reinforcing the one you're trying to leave. We're all trying to leave a worse version of ourselves. Today, I'm trying to leave a worse version of myself and get to this next level for myself. And I think we all are going through that. And it's so easy to want to be comfortable and make the decisions like you used to make. Now, I was reading in my book this morning, actually, and I put this in for the podcast. There was 5 things that this author wrote in his book about habits to be happy. And I wanted to read the 5 to you guys as ways to essentially learn to cultivate this better version of yourself. Because again, it's habits, it's casting that version that you want to become every day. And then I'll tweak these into what I interpret as the best 5 things, but I want to give you the 5 that he wrote down, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So number 1, the 5 things that will make you happy, right? Number 1 was every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. I could not agree more with that statement. This one I go off and on with. Some days I'm very good at it. Some days I just completely forget about it. And then it catches up to me and you're like, man, if I would just be focusing on the things I'm grateful for, I'm going to get more of those things. I was teaching my class last week in Sunday school, and I actually told them this. They're like 10 years old, these kids, 8 to 10 years old. And I said, the reason I asked you guys one good thing that you had from your week previous is because if you focus on the good things in your life and the things you're grateful for, you're going to get more of those things. And the class was stunned and they were like, oh, that makes so much sense. But it's hard to do for ourselves sometimes, because when you're going through a rut, when you're going through a hard time, it's hard to do that number 1 thing, which is write 3 things down you're grateful for. And that can be on your phone. It could be on paper. Listen, I'm a believer in technology. I'm a believer you can do it on your phone. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, you have to write it down. I think typing it on your phone or a computer, just as good. Number 2, journal for about 2 minutes about a positive experience, which is very similar to number 1, but he wrote it as a separate thing because I don't know why, but he said within 24 hours, you take 2 minutes to write about a positive experience. So again, you're reinforcing something positive that happened, which I think is very interesting. Number 3 was meditate daily. even just a few minutes. This is something I'm working on as well, the meditation. I definitely think there's a real spiritual law to that. Slowing down, being able to just focus on you, your breath, the reality around you when things get crazy. And then number 4 was at the start of every day, write an email praising or thanking somebody. Now, I don't think it has to be an email. It could be a text. It could be anything, but write a note praising or thanking someone that you know. That's what you do at the beginning of every day. Those are, that's the 4 things. The 5th one, which I thought was a good one, which is 15 minutes of simple cardio every day. Walking, steps, movement. These are 5 really good ones. I really resonate with a lot of them. I can improve some of them. I don't know curious what you guys think, but those are the 5 that were written in the book. I totally agree with the exercise every day. I would say at least 30 minutes though. I would up that. 15 is a little too low in my opinion. The day gets crazy. You need a solid 30-minute walk or a solid, 45 minutes in the gym 3 times a week and then walk the other days. That's my schedule. I love the idea of writing a note to somebody. That's something I think I can add into my routine. But that's the cool thing about happiness is we don't have to chase it. It's just a daily action that compounds. We can be happy today if we do some of those simple things that were on here. That's what I want to leave you guys with. Stop waiting till you feel ready. Like the beginning of my story, you have to do it when you're uncomfortable. You have to take the leap of faith. You have to do the thing you don't want to do. Sorry, the thing you do want to do, but the old version of you doesn't want to do it. Because that's a better way of describing this. It's not like you don't want to do the thing, but your old version of you is scared to do that thing. Either when it comes to your fitness, your health, your nutrition, sales, getting better. The old version wants to stay comfortable while the new version knows that you want that next level and you want to do the thing that's pushing you. So I'll leave you guys with this. Who am I becoming with the choices I am making today? Am I casting a vote for my old version of myself? The one who hesitates, the one who's scared, the one who stays comfortable, the one who is just still the same version of themselves? Or am I going to cast a vote today for this new version, this higher level version of myself that shows up, does the things that make them happy, but also casts votes for the version that they want to become? In the split decision, there's going to be moments in our life where we get to decide who we're going to cast a vote for. Until next time, guys, I appreciate you for tuning in. Let's get after it.